For many years we have heard a compelling story. It is a story that paints the Amazon rainforest as the lungs of our planet. This idea suggests that this vast green expanse produces an enormous amount of the oxygen we all breathe. The number often quoted is 20% of the world's entire oxygen supply. It is a powerful image, one that has rightly inspired great concern for the forest preservation. This single statistic has traveled across the globe, becoming a simple truth in the minds of many who care deeply about the natural world. It connects us directly to the fate of these distant trees, making their survival feel personal and urgent. This powerful narrative, however, simplifies a much more complex and fascinating reality. While the Amazon is indeed a place of immense biological activity, its role as a global oxygen factory is not quite what it seems. The truth is more nuanced, involving a delicate balance of creation and consumption that happens within the forest itself. Understanding this reality does not diminish the Amazon's importance. Instead, it reveals the many other profound ways in which this incredible ecosystem supports life on Earth. To truly appreciate the Amazon, we must look beyond this single captivating idea and explore the deeper science at play within its dense living walls. The Amazon is a world teeming with life and all that life breathes. The sheer scale of photosynthesis taking place here is staggering. Countless trillions of leaves from the forest floor to the highest canopy harness the power of the sun. They draw in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and, through a miraculous chemical process, release vast quantities of oxygen. This is the source of the lungs of the planet idea. The forest is indeed breathing in and breathing out on a colossal scale. But this is only one half of a much larger, more intricate story of the forest's own internal processes. So, if the forest is producing so much oxygen, where does it all go? The answer lies within the ecosystem itself. The Amazon is a mature, ancient forest. It has reached a state of equilibrium, a delicate balance. The very same life that produces oxygen also consumes it. The trees, the animals, the fungi, and the countless microorganisms that call this forest home all require oxygen to live. They breathe it in, just as we do, in a process called respiration. This internal consumption is a vital part of the story, one that is often overlooked in the simpler narrative. Photosynthesis is the engine of life in the Amazon. It is a quiet, constant miracle. Every day, the leaves of the great trees act like tiny solar panels. They capture sunlight and use its energy to transform carbon dioxide and water into sugars, which provide the fuel for the tree to grow. A vital byproduct of this incredible process is oxygen. With billions of trees all performing this function at once, the amount of oxygen released into the atmosphere within the forest is truly immense. It fills the air between the leaves, sustaining the vibrant web of life that depends on it. This is the great exhalation of the forest. But every living thing in the Amazon also inhales. The trees themselves, when the sun goes down, or in their non-leafy parts like roots and trunks, use oxygen to break down the sugars they created. This process, respiration, releases energy for their survival. All the animals, from the smallest insect to the largest jaguar, breathe in this oxygen to power their bodies. The forest is not just producing, it is also consuming. It is a self-contained system where the oxygen created by one process is immediately used by another. This continuous cycle of production and consumption is the rhythm of the rainforest. The cycle does not end there. When a tree falls or an animal dies, its life-giving matter is returned to the forest floor. Here, a vast army of decomposers gets to work. Fungi and bacteria, the great recyclers of the ecosystem, break down the dead organic material. This process of decomposition is incredibly important for returning nutrients to the soil so that new life can grow. However, this process also requires a great deal of oxygen. These tiny organisms are breathing too, consuming oxygen as they diligently break down the fallen giants and forgotten leaves of the forest. When we add it all up, the oxygen produced by photosynthesis and the oxygen consumed through respiration and decomposition, we find something remarkable. In a mature, stable forest like the Amazon, these two processes are in near-perfect balance. The forest essentially uses almost all the oxygen it produces. It is like a person taking a deep breath and then letting it all out again. Very little new oxygen, on a net basis, is left over to be exported to the rest of the world. The Amazon, therefore, is not adding a significant amount to the global oxygen supply we all rely on. If the Amazon is not the primary source of our oxygen, then where does it come from? The answer lies not on land, but in the vast blue expanses of our planet's oceans. The true lungs of the world are microscopic, floating organisms known as phytoplankton. These tiny plant-like algae drift in the sunlit upper layers of the sea. Though they are invisible to the naked eye, they exist in unimaginable numbers, forming the foundation of the marine food web. Through photosynthesis, just like the trees on land, they absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Their sheer abundance makes them a global force. These microscopic powerhouses are responsible for producing at least half and possibly up to 80% of the oxygen in our atmosphere. They have been doing this for billions of years, long before the first trees ever grew on land. Every other breath we take, we owe to these humble, unseen inhabitants of the sea. Their collective effort dwarfs that of all the forests on Earth combined when it comes to net oxygen production. Unlike the Amazon, much of the oxygen produced by phytoplankton is released directly into the atmosphere, contributing to the global supply that sustains terrestrial life, including ourselves. The health of our oceans is therefore directly linked to the quality of the air we breathe. Factors like ocean temperature, nutrient levels and acidity can all have a dramatic impact on phytoplankton populations. A healthy ocean supports a thriving population of these tiny oxygen producers. This is why protecting our marine ecosystems is just as critical as protecting our forests. The delicate balance of life in the sea ensures the stability of the atmosphere we all share. Their survival is our survival, a connection that is profound yet often completely overlooked in our daily lives. So, the great oxygen story has two main characters. The Amazon, a magnificent system that largely breathes for itself, maintaining a local internal balance, and the ocean's phytoplankton, the quiet, tireless workers that generate the surplus of oxygen for the entire planet. Understanding this distinction is crucial. It allows us to appreciate both ecosystems for their unique and vital contributions. We must shift our perspective from seeing the Amazon as simply an oxygen factory to understanding its more complex and equally critical roles in the functioning of our world. This knowledge empowers us to protect it for the right reasons. While the Amazon may not be the primary source of our oxygen, its importance for the planet is immense and cannot be overstated. Its true value lies in other, equally vital functions. One of its most critical roles is as a colossal climate regulator. The forest's trees hold vast stores of carbon in their wood, leaves, and roots. By absorbing carbon dioxide, a key greenhouse gas from the atmosphere, the Amazon helps to stabilize the Earth's climate. When we clear these forests, we not only stop this absorption, but we also release that stored carbon back into the atmosphere, accelerating climate change. The Amazon is also a great creator of weather. The trees release enormous quantities of water vapor into the atmosphere through a process called transpiration. This moisture forms vast flying rivers in the sky, which travel for thousands of miles, providing essential rainfall to agricultural regions far beyond the forest borders. The health of the Amazon is directly linked to the availability of water for millions of people and for the crops that feed them. The loss of the forest would lead to catastrophic droughts and disrupt weather patterns across the entire South American continent and beyond, with far-reaching consequences. Furthermore, the Amazon is the world's greatest sanctuary for biodiversity. It is home to an estimated 10% of all known species on Earth. Millions of species of plants, insects, fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals live within its embrace, many of which are still unknown to science. This incredible variety of life is not just beautiful, it is a vital genetic library. These species hold potential solutions to human challenges, from new medicines to more resilient crops. Each time a piece of the forest is lost, we risk losing these irreplaceable treasures forever, silencing answers to questions we have not yet learned to ask. In conclusion, the Amazon rainforest is far more than just a producer of oxygen. It is a critical carbon sink, a regulator of continental weather, and the single greatest reservoir of life on land. Its health is intricately woven into the health of our planet's climate and ecosystems. The story of the lungs of the planet may have been a simplification, But the urgent need to protect this natural wonder is more real and more complex than we ever imagined. The Amazon's future is our future, and its survival remains one of the most pressing environmental challenges of our time.